Today, I want to remember the Green Hills that I grew up with, the Green Hills of the 80s and the 90s. And I want to do so because I saw a thumbnail for a YouTube video for like a vlogger. He was a foreigner in the Philippines. And the thumbnail and the headline basically said, visiting the Philippines or Manila's fake market. Now, I'm not going to get butthurt over that or be offended because that is true. You do go to Green Hills now for all the counterfeit stuff or the pirated stuff. So I'm not going to get butthurt about that. However, I do wish or want Green Hills to also be remembered as something more than that. There was a time in the beginning, like the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, when Green Hills wasn't a fake market. So that's what I want to do. But before we get into that, please do subscribe to the channel, like this video, or comment below, and click on the notification bell so that you get notified when I upload new videos. So let's get to the topic at hand, and that's remembering Green Hills, the Green Hills that I grew up with, or maybe you grew up with as well. So let's try to document that before it's too late. You know, these things are dying out. And obviously, the world is changing very fast. So I just want to make sure that memory is documented online for a certain generation to see, or for future generations to learn from. Now, I want to start with one particular place within Green Hills, and that would be Greenlanes. So my love affair with Green Hills started with Greenlanes. In the early 80s, my parents were part of a bowling league, the San Juan Kegglers Club, something like that. I don't exactly remember the name of the team or the league, but my parents would go to Greenlanes on a regular basis when I was maybe 4 or 5 years old, and they would play in this league. Now, this is what I remember about Greenlanes. So back then, when you entered Greenlanes, on the left, when you enter, on the left was the office of Paeng Nepomuceno, yeah, the world champion bowler. He had a tiny office inside Greenlanes. I don't know if anybody else would corroborate this for me, but he had a small bowling office there. And I remember this distinctly because I visited that office once, or I wandered into that office. My 4 or 5 year old self wandered into that office, and Paeng himself was there, and he handed me a lollipop from his desk. He had a jar that had lollipops in it, and then he handed me one. And mind you, this is not just one of those sari sari store or cheap lollipops. I guess Paeng, being who he is, it was like an imported lollipop. It was from the States or somewhere, but I remember that he handed it to me. So imagine, Paeng is a 6 foot plus guy. So for a 4 or 5 year old kid, he's gigantic. So he's more than just, you know, gigantic figuratively. Literally, he's very tall. So anyway, I remember that Paeng Nepomuceno had an office there in Green Lanes. Somebody watching this is somehow related to Paeng or knows how a way to get to him. It would be great if someone could confirm that there was an office there. Now later on, somewhere in the mid or late 80s, there was a barber shop beside Green Lanes called Green Rose. So I don't know if that was the office or that was like an extended space from that office that became Green Rose Barbershop. But to those who know, they know Green Rose Barbershop as well. The old visitors of Green Hills and Green Lanes. Now, let's get to the topic at hand. So when you do enter the lobby of Green Lanes, which was a very spacious lobby, and this is from my memory, on both sides of the lobby were the prizes for the league or for the leagues that were happening there. And I remember that the prizes being given away back then were refrigerators, gas ranges, ovens, so kitchen appliances. So they were displayed on the left and the right, or the sides of the lobby. And I remember they were La Germania. Remember that brand? La Germania cooking stoves or ovens. White Westinghouse refrigerators. That was a popular imported brand back then. And I remember it because you know how when you open a new refrigerator, there's a smell, there's a scent of chemicals. So I remember that smell, because you know how they say the strongest sense is really the sense of smell, and that really brings back a lot of memories. So I do remember as a kid, while your parents are bowling, you don't have anything to do but loiter around or wander around. So I would wander to those appliances and then play with them, open and close the door and whatnot, right? So I would open it, and this smell of a new refrigerator or new freezer would waft out. So I remember that. So that was the lobby. Now in the center of Greenlanes was a bar. It was like a big brown wooden bar, and that's where you would go to sign up, but then also to get your shoes. So you'd go there to sign up, get your shoes, and then get your score sheet. Now back then, no computers, no projectors, no nothing. So the score sheet was this acetate plastic that you would put on your table, and it would be projected on a screen at the top by light, not by electricity or by anything, but it will be projected there. And it was manual. They gave you like a special pencil. I remember it was a yellow pencil, so that you could keep track of your score. Unlike today, it's all automatic. It's all calculated and computed for you automatically. This one, you had to mark it, the number or the spare or the strike, manually by this yellow pencil. And it wasn't like any kind of pencil, because it was like a bowling pencil. I remember you had to sharpen it a certain way. So yeah, you would score your on that acetate, and it would be, you could see it on top there on a screen. And at the end of the evening is when they would tally everything. So you wouldn't know who won right away. You would have to wait. And I remember this because even after the place was closed, they would still be there because they had to tally the actual score. And yeah, this would go on, I would imagine, up to like the midnight, because it was pretty late. So yeah, you would stay late to finalize the scores. So that I remember that about Green Lanes back then. And then also on that big brown bar that I was mentioning earlier, there was on the left of it was a ball machine. So this ball machine would polish your bowling ball. And I remember it was some kind of imported foreign brand, um, that you would put the ball in, and it would clean it and then polish it, so that you can play. And I remember also the smell emanating from this. I can't explain it. The smell emanating from that ball polishing machine, because it was a distinct smell too. There was a mix of leather, a mix of rubber, um, and yeah, you can smell it when people put the bowling ball in there, and it would polish it. It would surely be great if somebody could. I know a lot of the people that my parents bowled with, or that generation, have died out already. My dad is passed away a long time ago, and my mom is in her 70s. So the people they bowled with, I don't know if they're ever gonna watch this, but hopefully somebody from my generation could help confirm this with me. That would be great, right? The I guess the last part that I want to remember about Green Lanes was, so there you had the bar where you get the ball, your registration, your score sheet, and your shoes, and then on the right of Green Lanes is where you would order your food and drinks. And obviously for the kid or for the one who's not bowling, that was a huge source of amusement because or entertainment because when you're not doing anything, you eat or you drink, right? So I remember the right side where you can order the food and drinks, and I remember this because the waiters back then, they were in like a full on white shirt and a bow tie, like a black bow tie and black pants. So it was like you were in a formal restaurant or like like an upscale restaurant. So this was the time when it wasn't, not everything was fast food or not everything was casual dining. So the waiters were dressed in a white shirt and bow tie, and they would take your order and deliver your food to you. I remember because one of the waiters there, I distinctly remember his face. He had dark complexion and really thick hair and thick eyebrows. So his name was Art or Arthur. I remember him well because somehow my mom and my dad always ordered from him or something, or he was their favorite. But I remember him. If I remember his face, if I close my eyes, I remember him. I'm sure he's passed on a long time ago, but yeah, I remember Art and Arthur or Arthur, one of the waiters in Greenlanes, and my mom would like to would love to order their coffee, so coffee with cream and sugar. And I remember because as a kid, she would let me sip some of that coffee. Of course, it was creamy and sweet. It wasn't like a black coffee like what my dad would drink. And they came in those white, those diner mugs that you see now. They were very thick, like it wouldn't break if it fell, and it had the logo of Green Lanes on it. But what I do remember from the Green Lanes restaurant would be the hamburger. So my mom would order this hamburger, not even a cheeseburger. It was a hamburger. So the burger patty on in bread, and instead of coming with French fries or chips, it came with banana chips. So again, it would be great if somebody else could confirm this with me. But yeah, the burger, and I remember there was a toothpick on it, and there was like a small pickle on top of it. But the burger came with banana chips instead of fries. So again, this was the early 80s. And this was even before Green Lanes became like a billiards destination. Later on, I understand that they had pool tables, maybe 6 or 12. I don't really know anymore. But it became like a bowling and billiard. So this was when it was just bowling. So there you go. Those are my memories of Green Lanes, and I hope you appreciate this video. And please help me get this video watched or viewed more so that more people can remember Green Hills fondly, not just as the fake market, but something else and something more than that. So I'm gonna start with just Green Lanes, but in future episodes, I do want to talk about other places in Green Hills like Funhouse, Jonel's, Ding Dong. I know Regina's is still there, but all Vera Mall, the theater, all these other places that don't exist anymore, but obviously exists in our minds and in our hearts, and I want it to be remembered fondly that way. So yeah, this has been Ricky Remembers. And again, please subscribe to the channel, comment below, or like this video if you appreciated it. Thank you so much for reminiscing with me. And like I said, please help me spread this video so that more people will remember. Thank you.